behind. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in
Alright, race fans, welcome back here to PTM Racing TV live here today. As we are presented here at Chicagoland Speedway, it's time to see some hard racing in action from the Next Gen Cup cars as Spartan Logistics Management LLC iRacing IROC Series Challenge bring out their next race and their Season 4 lineup. I got everyone. I am the Crusader Christian Driver coming to you live here from Joliet, Illinois, here at Chicagoland Speedway, presented in part by good friends over at Spartan Logistics Management LLC, R&R Racewear, Loud Pedal Gaming TV, smashing the loud pedal over your viewing entertainment, SimSpeedShop.com, Track Time Entertainment, and 5-Star Graphics. We present to you live here and now the grading order and starting lineup for tonight's action here. Let's take a look at it here as we go on to the cams here. Here it is on the start. We will see out of the gate Cody Harger in the 66 is outside. That'll be the 94 Troy Radford. Row number 2 is going to be Brian McCann in the 3 is outside. Brian Rose in the 89. Row number 3 is going to be Aaron Smith on the number 1. The defending champion is outside. Brandon Medford, the 83. Row number 4 is going to be Neil Quick on the number 2 is outside. That's Vincent Short in the 15. Row 5, Hunter Clark in the 18 is outside. That'll be David Brown, the number 7. Row 6 is Paul Buzel, and then 20 is outside. That's Tim Schofield in the number 12. Row number 7. Pilots up there will be the producers will get this going here. There we go. Cook Quick in the 54 is outside. Carson Conway in the 82. Row number 8 is going to be Chris Wally. The 5 is outside. Kyle Pengraff in the 14. Row 9 sees David Tremblay in the 96 outside. Doug Wysocki in that 34. Row 10 sees Chris Medford in the 46 is outside. Matt Kopp in that 22. Row number 11 it's Ray Radford in the 47 is outside. Mike Harper in the 4. Jeff Napier in the 40 is outside. Dakota Clark in the 38 rounds out 24 drivers in our lineup here tonight. Track starting to fade. Track starting to fall off just a little bit. Mike Frasrose coming on board saying pulling for the 89. The boy and the Holler Boys crew looking to bring in the chain and bring in the hardware tonight. Here we go. Chicagoland Speedway. Time to get to the action. I definitely love that new camera that you got going on for us here. I love the fact we got that finally. Well, speaking of love, getting some moments in your Tier 2, Chicagoland Speedway, man, this is one of those tracks that I've been waiting a while here to see what these next-gen Cup cars can bring to the table. This is one of my favorite tracks, in all honesty, to watch some hard racing on for a mile and a half sideways, because this is actually one of those tracks that somehow manages to be the peak of time and actually be the actual true racing end for good hardcore, good clean, fight-it-out racing. It's a very unique style track where it's almost kind of indicative to what Iowa Speedway is in many ways. It's a track that really tests the patience and tests the minds of these drivers and really brings them to a whole nother level and really tests them on a whole nother plane. It's not a track that you can exactly just full throttle it on, but it's not a track at the same time you have a little bit of problems keeping up with the distances here. It's a track that really gives yourself a lot of breathing room, a lot of time and pressure here. Firing them on down right now. Here we on the front straightaway right at the moment. Troy Radford right now, the number 94, trying to put some push and shove into that 66 of Cody Harger, while the 3 of Brian McCann tries to hang on and keep him down there in the playing field. Coming right off the corners here, Troy Radford here, still trying to get some move on the McCanns here as number 2, Neil Quick, the man that everyone's trying to knock off the top of the mountain, trying to keep him from literally stealing away from this entire season. He has been the guy, in my opinion, that has just been flat out, pure, unalterated dominant here in the show. Coming through the field right now, you can see Brian Rose also. We talked about him just a minute ago. He's currently trying to get the 89 machine up there with the number 9, Paul Buzel. Buzel, I believe is how you say his name. Paul, if I'm saying your last name wrong, man, feel free to come at me about that one. I do apologize if I'm messing up your name. Although I can't mess up one thing, and that is what we see right in front of us, the battle raging on. Radford going straight down to the inside, looking for a hard charge off McCann as the 66 Cody Harger tries to hold his line in. Radford had a tremendous move going on that front straightaway to make a move on McCann, but it was not enough speed to hit the down. Speed just wasn't quite there yet, and I think he was very well aware of that. On board here with Brandon Medford, still searching for his first win of the season. Medford's one of those weird cats that really, he's been in a good place driving wise and really able to put on a show. But the problem he has, in my opinion, is he just can't seem to find to escape the everlasting issue that all motorsports drivers have to face, which is, can you find a way to catch a break, or can you find a way to get out of your slump or out of your lump every now and then? He's been in that spot more often than not, and that's exactly what's happening here as we go down to the 3 wide strip for a brief fleeting moment here on the back straightaway. Brian McCann, Bob Buzel, Brandon Medford, and Neil Quick all lined up in position. Neil Quick getting the better of the 2, while Cody Harger pretty much snuck by McCann there on the outside. Defending is one thing, but it's extremely difficult to kind of work off when you got another set of drivers just trying to hit you up from another end. Everybody choosing their fights and choosing everyone here. Vincent Short currently leading the 15. The Holler boys are hollering still. Rose up ahead of him just by a few seconds there. Trying to keep up his chances and hopes though. Obviously he knows very well more than anything he would love to be able to bring it to him and bring it back with the crew and bring these Holler boys into the limelight. Cook Quick, the 54, trying to kind of imitate what his family member Neil has been doing this entire season, which is just flat out booking it from start to finish. Some of our other drivers out here kind of pulling up some new shames, some new faces here. Kyle Pengrave being one of them in that 14 machine. He's bringing in a little bit of a new look with that Loud Pedal Gaming TV signed up, number 14. Most of these guys usually have the design you see right here. I'm not sure if Kyle maybe made a mistake and just didn't get the right scheme on, or if he just decided he wanted to try something different and blend out from the crowd. Not a bad look and not a bad idea. As you see the rest of the pack here, Tremblay, Napier, and all of them kind of way back in the pack. Charlie had some problems down there in pit road earlier on, had to go in and get cleared out to make sure he can continue to run. Unfortunately, it definitely cost him a lot more time than he realizes. Down on the end zone, right round out of turn 1 into 2. Brandon Medford still trying to get out there with Paul Buzel. Buzel right now currently maybe looking to get a move on Brian McCann here as McCann tries to hold his line off from it. On board camera here, Brian McCann, you can see just how much of a distance in the gap zone that Buzel is getting right on him. Harger had that tremendous pass earlier that made him really stick in his guns and stick the car into a right place at the right time. But now drivers are having all sorts of troubles here. Nicky Short coming on board saying, "Go Team Short." A little love there for the Short family tonight. Speaking of Short, I guess it might be a good time to anything to see what he's up to in his cockpit view right now. Well, okay, maybe not our cockpit view, but this is really the entire cockpit here. This is a little bit of a new look we're kind of coming through with PTM Racing TV. Just kind of testing out some new cameras and some new stuff. And they did tell me that when I got onto the show tonight, I can put the cameras anywhere I wanted and I can just keep it there for the day. I'm like, well, why don't I try it literally right behind the entire driver and see if we can get a good look there. I'd say it looked pretty good in there. Currently, right now, the only thing he wants to see is that look in front of him because I don't think he wants to look right behind him. David E. Brown riding the number 7, trying to keep up with Cook Quick, the 54, while Vincent continues to hold the line in and hold the strength in play. All drivers behind him right now trying to get a little bit of a draft partnering going here. Doug Wysocki kind of in the second spot of that, while the number 46 of Chris Medford leads the charge in with a big black and black machine. I always said there's always kind of that look that you get when you know you see a certain car on the track. I think Medford's kind of got beat. Everybody beat on that. He's just got that big all blacked out Spartan Logistics Management LLC styled up car. I mean, don't get me wrong, it pops out from the track, but I don't know if it really pops out from the entire field as much as anyone else does here. It certainly is a car you can't miss when you see it coming at you. It ain't no intimidator scheme, but it certainly is a look, that is for sure. Matt Cobb in the 22 right now with Kyle Pengrave and Carson Conway, while Tim Schofield also right up ahead of him here. Schofield and Conway, the two drivers in front right now, battling side by side in front of Cobb. As you can see, Conway trying to get a little bit of a run there on the inside line, and but the inside is going to pretty much be where you want to run off, but the outside is where you get most of your speed here. Real quick, the two right now kind of staying up there. Cody Harger. Last time these two went at it, I believe, was back at Bristol Motor Speedway, and Harger ended up kind of getting put in the sidelines here. Neil Quick actually coming away, I believe, with the cleanest of all cars, avoiding all the traffic and all the troubles. And I'm still trying to figure out to this day how the heck he was able to do that at a track like Bristol, of all things. The field's been pretty tempered and stampeding around, just all looking for openings when they can, make some big moves when they can find it. Bezel moving through the chains now. He's got the number 94, Troy Radford, now back in his sights here. Radford, I gotta believe, probably a little bit more determined and focused to get back at him here if he can. We're gonna ride around out of corner number 4 here, and everyone's still in a hot pursuit, in a hot battle. The 18 of Hunter Clark trying to dig inside, and maybe looking for a run here. Trying to represent the car that Bobby Hamilton Jr. has been representing when he gets out on the track, as Dakota Clark decides to go to the wall protection and give the old wall a little kiss down there. Either that or he still thinks it's a video game, trying to wall bang that thing and make sure you get a little runoff with it, which good luck with that. Cherry Jackowski Harger coming for saying go, I think she's saying go Charger? Gal Charger? I'm probably saying it completely, or Jex Charger? I'm probably saying it completely wrong, and I'm gonna get crucified in the comments for this one. But I'm sorry, Cherry. I couldn't quite really pronounce how you were trying to say it there. I'll apologize for that one, girl. On board here with Brian Rose right now. The number 89 continues to keep his distance here with Radford and Clark. Now Rose, you can see the distance in his eyes and that focus he comes forth here. He always brings that tenacity, that drive that I really can't seem to find too often in drivers, other than the ones that truly want to find a way to win and find a will to run. He certainly knows how to do it. Don Harger saying go is go here in Louisiana. Oh, okay, so it's go Charger. That how you said? Cajun lingo. Okay, you guys are confusing me now. I've lost it. All right, well. Looks like a little move around here. Got some battles coming through. Paul Buzel right now working the way in the middle of the pack here with Hunter Clark and Troy Radford kind of hanging in there. Didn't seem to mind too much a little battle or two or a little hustling in between. Every driver trying to make their name, trying to make it big here. Coming down around the corners here. Let's take a look back at the pack at the moment. Mike Harper, the number 4. Up ahead, just barely of the 14 of Kyle Pengraf with a 34. Doug Wysocki tries to still keep his drafting partner in with Chris Mefford in the 46. Now, remember, It's not a matter how far you're off right now, because it's not really going to matter too much later. The good news is for these drivers is with this 150 lap ordeal, they at least know past the halfway point, we will have a stage caution coming on out here, and they'll enter stage 1, then stage 2 comes out, then final stage will be risen upon with us. So what that means is that even though you see guys right now far behind the field, as long as they don't go a lap down, they are going to be in a conservative spot to work around for later on when they need to most. If I haven't already said, by the way, thanks to Don Harger for coming on board here tonight, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Puts the short corner left high and dry here, and it's going to get pretty much packed up by a few of these guys. Look at Cook Quick, literally just getting a draft partner off of help from the number 7, David E. Brown, but Brown decides he's got other priorities in mind. He backs off and goes straight down low. Yeah, Cook Quick trying to hang in there a little bit, trying to keep up the distance, keep up the momentum. Look at Medford sneak his way to the inside. Now it's Medford's turn to put up a little show. Medford looking to intimidate all those that oppose him and all those that dare come before him in his own way. He doesn't exactly like to just stay out of the way for drivers. He will get in your way if you have got him, if you're going to get yourself in trouble with him. The onboard camera here with Harper right now, trying to find some kind of draft, trying to find something to help here to keep him in the distance, keep the proximity of being able to build some speed up and build some runoff. Remember, with these next gen cup cars, again, these 550 horsepower packages can be extremely tight, close, and compact racing. But the one bad news is that if you fall into a dirty air situation, that extra horsepower and the extra speed you got, well, it's not there, and it's not even anywhere near to begin with. So now you have to rely on a little bit of control and talent here to understand the situation and when to make a move, which involves usually working with teammates there. As you saw a beautiful pass there of a 3-wide slit with Tim Schofield and Mike Harper engaging around the 14 cal pen graph while some paint was traded around there. Yeah, I'm not talking about the training paint software we use around here on iRacing. I'm literally talking about some actual paint, skirts, and fenders being traded off that corner end. Brilliant driving though by everybody to hang in there and keep it under control. Pen graph going a little bit lower than he probably should have, especially with Harper bringing it right in between. Here comes Chris Wally now engaging. He says, boys, I see you fighting. I don't like this. I want to get around all of you, and you can leave me be. The 5 trying to make a jump on the outside. Couldn't quite get it to stick here. Wally, a former racing champion in his own right, the Season 1 champion of the Spartan Logistics Management LLC iRacing IROC Series. He was the first one of the crew. Then it was the second season. That's when the McCann family ran into town, and Kevin and Brian just completely and utterly dominated that season. Most of it going to Brian McCann, enough to win him his first season championship. And then the third season, the season we came on board for, was back with Aaron Smith, as he would take home the gold and take home the title. We have not left him since, and we continue to race with him and continue to broadcast with him. And I'll tell you this much, as long as our schedules stay in time and everyone stays under control, I will gladly stay with these guys to watch all their races, because honestly, this has always been a tremendous pleasure to see some good battles and some great moments in between. These guys always can put on a show. Right now what you're looking at is the best lap times on your scoreboard here. This is really the drivers that have had the fastest position, fastest times, and this is something I always want to bring up, because it always kind of just shows, like, before our major update is coming for these next gen cup cars, this just shows you how much of a difference maker and how much of a charge it is to get that 550 horsepower package, to just get that extra little boost, that extra tenth off of a driver, off of a track. And it's only for one lap, by the way. When you're trying to do it for multiple laps, it's easier said than done to get them to stick around and go what they need to. And you can see here, the 30.03 is the fastest tonight from Brandon Medford. He had that really helped off based off two things: priority, drafting, as well as control of the car. Without that control, he would not have been able to keep it up into the distance zone or in as fast as he was. And now here's our last lap times here you're seeing now. This is where things get a little interesting. You can see here, As they're heading into pit road, they're going to have to change that strategy up a little bit. As you see, as they head into pit road, those that stayed out, they had a 31-second timer last time. They're going to end up another 31, so they do burn the tires up off the start. However, it doesn't necessarily mean for the long term that it'll be able to work around as well as that anyway. Really what it boils down with these cars is two things. Number one, find a partner, find a draft team, and use them. Focus on trying to get the leader to be left high and dry or left the car high and dry so they can't build any speed up, and then use that draft to kind of help bolster your speed, bolster your run. Or you have to really use pit strategy to its fullest extent and really understand the limits of what these cars can bring. And honestly, I don't really think any of us out here actually know how much these cars can bring to the table and how fully extended out they can be. Brian Rose, though, sir, the scene wants to test about that. He's going to try to get that one lap lead point here, and looks like you're going to pit road a little too soon for that. Hunter, oh, maybe not. Hunter Clark's going to go in, and I think Mike Harper might join him here. Oh, he will. So it looks like Brian Rose will get a lap lead in this case here. And he does indeed. So one lap lead, a point for Mr. Brian Rose. The 89 will take that one. As he heads into pit road, tries to get things figured out. We'll take a look back on the track here as currently Brandon Medford and Troy Radford heading back out for a little more racing. Radford was in there earlier on putting on a bit of a show. Now let's see if he can get it going here. Eddie Rose saying HBR boys looking good tonight. Yes, they are, sir. And Don Harger giving us a thumbs up. I'm presuming to thank you for coming on board earlier today. Ooh, speaking of coming on board earlier today, look at this. Brian Rose. He's going to opt back out of pit road, and I think he did not take a fresh set of tires into that thing. I think he was going in with just a little bit more of a fuel strategy in mind. Let's take a look at the pit stop time length here. And judging by the link there, I would say, yeah, that probably it was what he was after, what he was wanting to do. Can't quite tell on our end there. Take a look at the lap counter here, and you can see about a 40 lap distance and gain travel. That's going to be a bit of a head scratcher here for some of these boys, because Bradford, you can see he went only about 39 laps. The rest of them 39, 37, 38. So looks like different strategies are playing out. Looks like everyone's got their own priorities in mind and what they want to do here. And Rose actually, because of that little pit strategy he did, he actually had a pretty good lead up on these guys here, but there's just one little downside to that. You guys remember what I just said literally about 20 seconds ago about the drafting part and the issue of that? Well, now here's where I was talking about. Rose is left high and dry. Radford, Medford, and McCann are coming for him. Yeah, once he gets caught, he's going to have to find a way to hold his line down and hey, hope maybe, if he's lucky, be able to keep his distance and keep his car in check. All four drivers right now lining off the bottom end, letting Rose make sure that he knows he's there. Rose has never won here on PTM Racing TV. He'd like to change that here today. The night lights there at Chicagoland Speedway here under Joliet in Illinois right now, looking to get more and more dark around these parts of town. Soon enough, it'll be all cleansed out and we'll be pretty much under the night bright lights. Aaron Smith, we watched earlier on here in the number one, he had a little bit of a head scratching move here where he went down to the bottom off the back straightaway to kind of make room for everybody else and kind of let himself stay out of trouble. Now, I would have agreed earlier to trying to preserve his car and trying to stay out of trouble. Remember, these guys don't get any fast repairs. This isn't like some of the other leagues we run where they get an extra repair, they get any fast clears out there. No, no, no. They don't get any fast repairs whatsoever. They only got one thing to work with, and that is strictly their wood car and nothing else. So that bump and tagging and that little damage you saw of Pengraph earlier, that's going to have to get cleaned up on his own time or on his own plate, because he's not going to have time to get a repair in and get just cleaned up like that. They treat this more like a real life world racing sim, and that's what really it's all about in my opinion. That's what makes it such good racing, because everyone has got a plan and a mindset, but also it can be a bit of a head scratcher when you don't see yourself getting any more run than you should or you feel like you would. down about 1/3 of the way here so far, and really I'm kind of looking at this from multiple angles here, but at the moment obviously drivers are going to be in stage 1 a little bit more conservative, a little more off throttle and on pace. But when we get a little bit later in, I guarantee you that will certainly change up, as now the drafting will come to an end here for the guys in the back, as now Brian Rose has got some company here at Troy Radford, Ryan McCann, and then right behind him, Barroso. I'll give him credit's due. He's not exactly letting Radford by him that easily. He blocked, he defended, but he opened the door up, and now Radford taking over the race lead here as Brian McCann looks to hunt him down. Brian trying to get a lap lead here and trying to give himself some points to add on to his day. Will he be able to, though? He's going to have to try to hold the line down and hold the momentum in here as they come off of corner number 4. Brandon Medford here and Neil Quick, they've all come right back into the fray, back into the frying pan, if you will, into the fight. Neil right now the reigning and defending points leader at the moment here. He's trying to somehow, some way go and past the halfway point and try to win himself his very first career season championship here on PTM Racing TV. He's at the top of the mountain right now, but we've seen it here previously where guys like Aaron Smith even had some guys kind of popping in and out from the later half of the race season. Certainly Kevin McCann was one of them, and he really put up a number and put on a fight at him there, and he knew very well he was in deep trouble if he was not careful. Right around here at turn number 3 and 4, a little bit of a head change here. Brandon Medford trying to get a lap in, maybe lead a lap or 2 off. He knows as well as anything, if he can get those extra bonus points, he may be able to still salvage his season up. And now Neil Quick even kind of initiating himself in a little bit here. Sorry if I'm a little off the tempo tonight, guys. My voice is kind of shot, unfortunately. No, I don't have COVID or I'm not sick. Just gotta have a little bit of a cough going on. Brandon trying to hang in there quick, trying to get something going here. McCann looking to maybe take him down to the end zone here and look for a run. The end of the turn, the end of the corner, while Brian Rose, give credit, so he stayed out a few laps extra than these guys, but for the most part, the fact that he was able to defend off the line and fend off his run, he was able to really pretty much push himself towards a whole nother level here. They know the stage break is coming up quick and it's coming up fast, and if they don't watch themselves or tempo it out here, they could be in deep trouble. That's been the one egg issue that's overlaid this entire season, is when you get to the stages, do you try to risk going for the big points, or do you try to risk yourself giving up for something here? Don Harger saying, how did 66 go a lap down? Speed penalty? If I had to guess, Harger, yeah, I would say it's probably a speed penalty there. That pit road, unfortunately, can be a bit of a cruel mistress when it comes to going in at the right time. I've had that happen before. He didn't spin, he didn't crash, obviously, because there would have been damage on that car and he would have been pretty much out and about. But no, looks like it was a speeding penalty. He'll hang in there, though. He's going to work right now with the number 6 driver of Vincent Shore, 15 Machine, trying to keep himself up into the pack and back with the holler boy himself, Brian Rose. You can see a little bit of a gap, a little bit of a distance here, and actually looking at our pit time right now as well. We finally got on our camera in here. The fastest pit times were really done by the 9-second field, which involved Brian Rose and Vincent Shore. They both had a 9.3 and a 9.42 respectively, while the others were at a 12.7, 12.4 on their fastest time and their fastest time will go around. You're probably wondering at home, okay, why was it only that long though? Why didn't they take longer? Well, the thing is, more than likely all they did was just take 2 right side tires and some fuel as they were getting filled up and ready to get back out on the track. That's more than likely what happened. They didn't want to use too much time up in the pits. They didn't want to use too much time being in there. They wanted to kind of get and go. When you're on a track like this and you're relying on a car that involves around that draft and that push more than anything, it actually is a bit of a handful to actually give more work on yourself by working your way from back further in the field to then get up to the front, compared to like what you would do at Daytona or Talladega if you're running an Xfinity or a Truck Series in this case. These draft packages can be a bit of a handful, and they can certainly give you the worst of time and the worst of luck, as many of these drivers have found out the hard way around here. Mike Harper right now, the number 4, currently 11 spots up. He is the hard charger tied of the night. Behind him, Jeff Napier in the 40, and then Chris Medford the 46, both each having a solid 11 spots up here. So at the moment, anyway, it's not a whole lot of drivers that aren't close together and close into position as yellow flag flies for our stage break. And Brian McCann managing to solidify himself into the spot with some points, so that will help out his cause and help out his day a little bit. But now that makes you wonder here, folks, does he have a lot of time left in that 3 to get him a chance here in the points race, much less be able to hang with these guys? Well, I'll give you more info about that here in just a moment, but right back, when we come back, folks, we will see the Spartan Logistics Management LLC iRacing IROC Series taking down stage 2 for some more hard, clean action here on PTM Racing TV. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, has been brought to you in part by our good friends over at Spartan Logistics Management LLC, by R&R Racewear, the official web store and website and merchandise line for iRacing, by Loud Pedal Gaming TV, smashing the loud pedal for your viewing entertainment, by SimSpeedShop.com, by Track Time Entertainment, and by 5-Star Graphics. A big thank you in large part from the iRacing IROC Challenge Series, as well as us here at PTM Racing TV. So while we go ahead and get everything figured out here on our end with what's going to come up next, let's take a look at our results so far in the race standings. This was after race 7, which was back at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Here's how the points lay down. You can see a solid 21-point difference between Chris Medford and Neil Quick, but Brian McCann, with this points day, he just got right there 6 points added on. That will certainly help his cause a little bit to get closer up with the field and closer in with the drivers. However, he's going to be in a bit of a handful stretch here because he knows he's got a lot of work to do. He's got a lot of time left out on the track that he's got to perfect and perform in order to stay up with the time, stay up with the chance, and stay up with the zones. Really, it all boils down to one thing: can you manage yourself on the track as much as you can drive on the track? Some bad wrecks and some bad situations have caught some of these guys off guard before, and might nearly about got in a low one of them here as Neil Quick manages to catch a break there and get himself in a second. Brian McCann getting a solid spot off there up pit road. He will easily grab the number 1 spot here. I know I got a lot of questions at home wondering, how tough were, some of these drivers and how good were they to begin with when they came onto the series. Well, to answer that question, we usually judge off by the I-rating side of things and how much they've won and how much they've done on finishing in positions-wise. The highest of our group here, of course, is Aaron Smith with a solid 570.98 on his I-rating catalog. So what does that mean exactly? Well, it means he's pretty much got a loaded start on his finishes and his placements. His safety rating may not be much, but again, that doesn't matter when you're looking at the overall I rating, which is 5,798. And again, the closest one to him is the man up in front right now, which is Brian McCann, the number 3. So two racing champions, really in a solid lineup and a solid progression. But because of that next gen Cup car, it really changes the landscape and the playing field by so much that Neil Quick, who's a lower end at about 28.19, actually had a chance. He actually had a chance to really bring out the best of him and bring out the best in his equipment. And actually, because of that, it's really changed out the landscape for him and his crew. He's now been able to actually hang in there. He's been able to actually gain some points, and he's really shown as a driver what he is capable of. So it definitely evens out the playing field and evens out the driver's perspective. But I mean, in some regards, though, and the one thing I'm not a whole lot of a fan of, is the bigger overall issue, which is basically because of that slower package on those NASCAR Gen Cup cars. They really, to me, do not show what you can truly do with this equipment and with this kind of luxury. Because again, they're the same chassis, same build, and everything. Nothing changed there. It's just unfortunately they have to rely on such a slower package and just drafting all the time. It's really, you're not even laying off the throttle much on tracks and on corners. Short tracks wise, yeah, you gotta get off the throttle there, but still, it's not by much. So for those that, you know, kind of hoorah and rock on with the pack racing and all that stuff, I mean, that's great and all, but to me, I always look at it from two angles, and that is, as a driver's perspective, I'd rather go out there and make sure I get a car that's loose and I have to fight it. I have to try to fight the dryers off and everything and find ways to manage tires, rather than having to try to manage tires and then trying to make sure I just don't lose a draft from somebody, all because that's the only way I can win a race. To me, that's kind of where I really fall into this category and I feel into this market. But again, these drivers, they have a lot better sense of it. They have a lot better grasp of it than I do. So they know how to kind of keep things under control, kind of keep things more in line, and they're very good at really pushing themselves around the track and pushing them to their limits. So it'll be interesting to see what they can lay down on the table and lay down on the track here. And I especially cannot wait here coming in a couple weeks, because, ladies and gentlemen, we just got word confirmation today the Los Angeles Coliseum is for sure coming to iRacing. And there's one thing I want to see, it's short track battling. But for now, race fans, we're getting back to the action here. We're getting back to the moments. Let's get down to it. Obviously, Chicagoland is by no means a little track, and by far a bigger track in this end. Mile and a half long, and it's full of exciting times. Drivers kind of pushing their limits a little bit, pushing their luck off the ends on the front straightaway. Coming through the packs, this is what it's all about here. Everyone trying to hang in there, trying to find a runoff, trying to find an area to kind of get through. This is really what separates the men from the boys here. The drivers from literally the rookies, if you will. This is literally that whole wheel in, wheel out kind of position where you're trying to find a little run, trying to find that little boost of momentum you get from those fresh set tires. And the control that it takes to hammer in and stay in place and stay in line. These guys know all too well what it takes to do that. About 9 to go left before we hit halfway point here. Stage break number 1 was taken care of here. Now the rest of the field just trying to keep themselves in a somewhat proverbial state here to work on for the rest of the time being. Stage 3 will definitely make everyone not just get a little more aggressive, but I think it's going to keep them a lot closer together. I think a lot of guys right now are being very, very conservative and very controlling of their own pace and their own tempo, because they do not want to get into a mess or into a scruffle here. I think, like a lot of smart drivers out here, they see the writing on the wall. They know if they get too aggressive, they get too all over the place, it could end up costing them more than we realize. So they're keeping themselves in track and in line. David E. Brown right now, the number 7 machine, trying to keep up in the middle part. You can see trying to run the multiple angles line the Chicagoland Speedway usually can bring to the table as we go 3 wide and slow for just a brief moment here. Aaron Smith kind of laying in a little bit, maybe trying to focus on a run or two, trying to find something to kind of come off with. Smith again, the defending champion right now at this moment. He has not been, in his mind, really the top gun that he feels like he should have been. He told me earlier today these next gen cup cars are a little hard to figure out because he's so used to having to really use his tempo with his foot and use his tempo with his control of the car. So this is a bit of a different story for him. Ronald J. Reynolds saying, "You sound better tonight." Oh, thank you, sir. Robert Dudley saying, "What's up?" Oh, good to hear it from you, Robert. Yeah, Ron, like I said, I don't know what's going on with me. I think I'm just kind of fighting a little cough or something here. It's not a cold, it's not COVID. Don't worry about that, folks. You ain't gonna worry about me at all anytime soon. I think it's just a little sniffles or two. Sniffles here or there. Looks like Smith decided he wanted to ruffle up a few feathers here. He's going right in the mix and trying to fight off a few guys here. Look at Cook quick though. Oh my! From top side to the depths below. The 54 crossovers, the 94. Beautifully done there off turn 4. And now the front straightaway, he's got the run. Now that Aaron Smith guy right now, he's definitely looking like a complete 180 of what he was doing at the start of this race. Went to the back stretch and went down below the white line just to get out of the way of everybody. Now this is a completely different statement here from him. Every driver for themselves, as we've pointed out here before on PTM Racing TV, and this is certainly no different. Pretty clear cut, pretty clean, good racing here. Obviously these drivers don't want to just go ahead and try to tear up their equipment too quick. They don't want to get too crazy out there, but it seems like Chicagoland, there's one good thing about it, is because you can run multiple angles on the top, bottom, and the middle. You got a lot of room there to really make do and make pace whatever you want here. I personally have never won here on this track in my lifetime, but I can tell you I've had quite a few close calls. Actually, one of my closest finishes came from this place, about a 10,000th of a second finish. That 10,000th of a second finish, honestly, was probably one of those heartbreakers that I couldn't even begin to begin with. And I'll tell you, one guy that wants to play a heartbreaker, wants to be the spoil maker here tonight. Watch out for that 15, Vincent Short. He decides to lead the draft because he decides he wants to push his luck and push his limits. He's trying to holler up there. Oh, but he gets into it there with David E. Brown off of turn number 1. Smack dab right into the 7. Both drivers taking a huge hit off that, unfortunately, and Brown. Damage on the right side, lost all his momentum, and this is where I really told you earlier on about that problem I have with this 550 horsepower package. Is literally when you get hit like that and you lose all your momentum, there's not a whole lot of ground you can cover up and get back into it. Now Brown's going to have to try to find a way to somehow stay in line and stay in proverbial spot and hopefully get some damage cleaned up come a stage break. Or on his next stop down to pit road, because that damage is tremendously hard on that car and he knows it. Brian Rose now looking like he's also kind of hitting and intertwining around here again. He knew that stage break earlier really helped out his chances, helped out his charge here. Now he's hoping for a bit of a break and a bit of help here from these other guys. Chris Mefford, the number 46, right there with Brandon Mefford. Meanwhile, the number 2, Neil Quick, trying to keep claim and keep aim. Keeping it clean, keeping it real. He knows that all too well here. Your race leader, Brian McCann here. Pretty much a solid performance in a day and a half for him and his team. Never really looked like he was in trouble. Never really looked like he was put in a bad spot throughout. Just trying to hang in there though. Got a little bit more runoff here, a little bit more time to begin with. Lap traffic now going to be a bit of a factor here. That is Paul Buzel here, number 9. Not really sure what happened to him there, but he's got a lot of damage on that front end. Chris Wally here, a former champion now, even kind of keeping up his pace, kind of fighting a little bit. He's got the 14 and Pengraph right above him. And again, these setups these drivers put together, get to work on, obviously it really does help out obviously with the overall issue that comes with this package deal and with this race kind of run. But I will say right now, this has been pretty much a solid performance and a solid battle in here from Chicagoland Speedway. This to me is what you can actually get out of these cars if done right. And this to me, in my opinion, is certainly a track that can be done well enough in many regards, in many ways. We said it even here on the broadcast here, we put it up point blank that this is one of those tracks that actually works out quite well and actually is a pretty good, memorable track for memories here. Through the ends of the field, through the end of the track right now. Double filing them up still. Brian Rose, you see that damage, or excuse me, Vincent Short, the damage you see on the 15 there as Brian Rose, his teammate tries to help him out a little bit, trying to work with him to kind of keep him in. You can see the teamwork being used and being settled up really well there. A lot of teammates, a lot of team talk and everything kind of going through these drivers' minds, these drivers' heads. And everybody looking for a momentum where they can get in and speed where they can grab it. Pengraph here, man, talk about charging up quickly here despite that damage on the front end of that car. He's been just completely tore up a little bit, yet it still is hanging in there. He's piling it up right there with the number 2 and the number 46. Medford pushing it a little bit inside, a little in route. Every driver for themselves here, nobody giving an inch, nobody wanting to give any chances up that easily. You know, also, just for the heads up, I think I probably talked about it last week, but I mean, just the whole situation right now with the iRacing landscape and the motorsports landscape, it's kind of crazy to me that, again, iRacing had acquired and purchased up Monster Games as it was here. And I mentioned it too. I said that this whole series was because of the IROC Series that they had, or the International Racing of Champions as it was referred to there way back when. And SRX actually was kind of the one that took that idea and kind of took it in stride and used it a little bit with their series, and might have added an awesome series. I absolutely love it nonetheless. But that also kind of begged the question, I even said it before, it's like, when will we actually get those SRX cars on the track and on the series? And if and when we do, will these guys run them? And well, I haven't talked to them about it. I haven't even mentioned it to them, but I mean, the thing is, if iRacing actually did acquire Monster Games for that SRX license, if they still have it from the console games, they can bring it over here to iRacing. And honestly, I wouldn't mind it whatsoever. I think in all honesty, if we did have that pop up, or it did come around, I think these guys honestly probably would have a lot more interesting battles, a lot more interesting races. Because then when the next gen Cup cars get updated, they're going to be a complete update, so I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I cannot say for sure because, again, I don't know truly if those SRX cars can actually run on a super speedway or can actually run on a mile and a half. They're actually more built for the short track side of things. We've only seen them on short tracks. We've seen them on dirt tracks. That's the only things we've seen them on. Which, again, hey, you ain't here a place for me, but I mean, when you got about 20 or 40 guys out here on the track, that can be a little bit tricky, I will say. So I don't know. We'll just have to see in due time what all comes out from the world of iRacing, comes from the world of racing in general. But nevertheless, here back onto the start here and back onto the track right now, Kyle Pengraph trying to put some Loud Pedal Gaming TV machinery into the heads and into the fight zone. Trying to make everybody looking around here and trying to make them think a little too quickly about it. Brian McKenna on the outside line. He's lost his race lead to Brandon Medford. Medford going to take a point in for his troubles as Troy Radford looks to try to knock him back off that list here. Troy knows every point led is every little extra point they can get and every little extra start they can get around the track can certainly change the game and change the landscape up a bit. It is doing just that right now, and he's very well aware of it. Chris Wally here as well, number 5 machine man. I'll tell you one thing, every time I talked about him, I've mentioned before, something bad always happens, so I'm just going to try to keep it minimal and short and sweet. But right now, doing a good job. He's moving 7 spots up and really pushing his limits here a little bit, so maybe there might be a chance. Chris Medford, I'll tell you one thing that's hard charging up and pushing some limits. That's him right now. He's up 14 spots here with this entire field and this entire run here. As you see the battle now raging on between him and Vincent Sawyer. Meanwhile, up ahead, Troy Radford and Mr. Brandon Medford. The Medford clan trying to hold down the Radford clan as McCann even now moves his way into position. These drivers just do not care, do not quit, to say the least, and they are pushing everything they got and then some here. Speeds upwards of 185 to 191 miles per hour, excuse me. About a 6 mile per hour difference, and it may not seem like much, but let me tell you something, that extra little thing of horsepower, the extra little thing of speed you can get, it makes up the difference. Speaking of making up the difference here a little bit, looking right below Chris Medford, the 46, looked like he might have thought about taking it, a little 3 wide saluting between him, Vincent Troy, and Troy Radford, but I think he studied earlier what happened to Vincent and David E. Brown when they got into it there off that corner of turn 1. I think he saw something maybe he wasn't really wanting to look at. Yeah, starting to kind of separate themselves out. Pack's starting to deform a little bit here. They know the pit road strategies, the pit strategies are coming up here ever so slightly. We're going to take a look at our stint length right now, what these guys went on here at the moment. And you can see about 8 laps to go for some, and maybe about 7 more for others. And every lap really can make a big difference between success and failure, depending on whether or not you go a full stint long run or you go a short run, as we learned from NASCAR drivers as well, how they like to set these 550 horsepower packages up. They like to either go around towards the shorter end of the side of things, which is basically get about 5 or 6 laps less and charge a lot harder and charge a lot quicker when you can, or the long-term strategy, which is gain about 5 or 6 to 10 more laps on the fuel line, but you are slower, so it means you're going to have to pretty much hope that it stays green and avoids trouble, because that's where really your speed comes from, and that's where your momentum kind of comes from. And everything you really just kind of worry about is, again, when you're in that car, I mean, how much fuel do you put into that car when it comes to its fullest potential? Do you try to go for a full set and a full length to know you're for sure you're good, but the risk of having the car feel a little heavier? Or do you actually try to go with a lighter end and make sure you're a little faster, but run the risk of, if we have a caution or something like that pop out, you don't have enough fuel to kind of get around the track that next set of go-arounds. That's kind of always been the biggest issue between success and failure, is figuring out how to get the most fuel and how to figure out how to get some more reserve fuel. But that is one thing iRacing really has done a great job with, is determining the weight in the field just by simply fueling up your car and filling it up on the track here. It really does actually make a difference. I felt it myself, where I'll put in about 10 laps, I'll put in about 10 gallons of fuel in my car, depending on the car, and then I'll put about 2 gallons in after I've burnt it all up. And the way it feels, the way it just reacts on the track, it is truly different in the sense that I can feel every little extra step, extra little momentum boost, because my car is not as heavy anymore, and it's actually a lot harder to kind of ramp up and work around. It's a unique dilemma. It's a very unique situation that you just cannot find in really any other sim I've been a part of or I've ever raced in. And it's just a wild scenario. It's a wild circumstance that you just must feel to believe. It's not even you see to believe. It's just you feel to believe. See, and you can see right now what these drivers are up to and what they're doing and how they're handling each other, but it's a whole other ball game when you get out on that track and you actually race with them. Never raced with these guys yet, to be honest. Although, believe me, I've been trying to call them up, trying to see if maybe we can get a little session in or two. But they definitely have put on a good fight and put on a good show here. Ryan Rose now looked like after that pit road strategy coming into use here, he is now looking to take aim and take shots. He's right there with Brandon Medford. You want to talk about a guy that is literally just charging and mounting this field up. That 89 is doing that and then some. Brian trying to get a run off here on the 83. Brandon Medford trying to keep him away from it. Only have so many sets of laps left to go here before the stage 2 break comes up, and that's when things could get very, very dicey if you are that 89 cam. Medford is going to be have to watch that watch his corners here, because now fuel strategy is coming up on him. 37 hit, 38 now coming up. There will be about one more lap of fuel remaining before he's going to have to go in for pit road. Same really goes for Brian Rose unless he decides to try to dig his luck out again. He's having a habit of trying to do that before here and really doing it like that. Coming right around here now. Laps, only a few laps left, I would say, before they are going to have to figure out this one. Brandon Medford trying to hold his line in, trying to hold himself in charge. Now, remember, going into pit road, maybe an easier story as well. They've got to be careful about how they go in and where they choose to opt into. Ryan Rose will stay out. Chris and Brandon go in. Troy Radford going in. Oh, he catches 83 of Brandon Medford, though. That could have been a nasty little spill and tumble there. Brian McCann joins them in. So Chris Medford and Brian Rose stay out. Brandon Medford right at the moment. I thought Chris might have gone in with them. I may have been mistaken there. I think it was just Troy Radford, Brian McCann, Brandon Medford that went in there with them. So Jeff Napier, Mike Harper, and all of them staying out. Now Medford will go in. Harper going to go in too, and Napier as well. But Brian, yet again, I don't know what's going through this cat's mind right now, but this is actually extremely brilliant strategy by the 89. I think he sees something we do not right now, which is the long-term usage and the long-term strategy of this 89 car. He stayed out longer than everybody else. He's been charging up to the front like everybody else, so we know he's got the speed to go with it. But this is really the first time that I could say, if we go a full green flag run, I think this guy might be the one you got to watch out for. He might actually be able to knock down the entire field if he can get to that point. But again, he's got some work to do, and he's got to make sure he gets out of pit road on time, or he's going to be in major trouble here. Remember, he had a chance there to win that stage break there, but it did not quite go his way and not go in his favor. If he doesn't get out of pit road soon, though, he's going to have company coming up on him. Oh, he gets it out, but does he have enough time? Oh, he's going to be pushing it here. The boys are coming off the corner 4 and onto the front straightaway. They're heading down to turn 1. It's not enough time for Rose. He's going to have to watch the drivers pass him on by, and I got a feeling he stayed out a little longer than usual. Looks like pit time was only about a 6-second pit time there. Average on that, 6, 7, 8, a couple 15s and a couple 47 seconds in there. Looks like there is going to be a speeding penalty on Mike Harper. He's going to have a penalty there, unfortunately, for speeding on pit road. He went over the line, over the limit. So that will cost him a lot of chance, a lot of time here. Penalty also for Mr. Carson Conway in the 82. Well, that just changed everything up completely here and made things a lot more difficult to work around for these drivers. Aaron Smith starting to patrol the battle, starting to patrol the field, maybe looking to get him into the top spot. He's not had a very good season on the points side of things, but he has been at least consistent enough to hang in there on that top 10 end and maybe be able to find a way to defend his championship. This points battle, this points series is so difficult to work with. It's so difficult to kind of keep up with on so many planes, so many levels, because it really tests the driver's patience and their level of mentality. If you get a little too out of control for your own good, a little too crazy for your own sake, you're just going to end up costing yourself more than you realize. Medford on the bottom lane by the 94 here. Radford looking to possibly take aim and fire it off. They have about 41 laps this next go around left to go. That 41 lap difference could mean the difference between success and failure, depending on how you look at it as a driver. You just got to watch yourself. That's all we know here on PTM Racing TV. Aaron Smith now charging right up there with the field, coming right into the pack and into the zone. Chris Medford doing much the same. By the way, for those at home wondering, yes, this is an all Chevrolet field. This is not any Fords or Toyotas on the track here. It's all Chevrolet, same car, same design. You're probably wondering at home, wait a minute, why'd they do that? Why didn't they just let them run the other cars? Well, when you want a true actual IROC style car, then you need to have pretty much the same scheme, same car and everything. Yeah, out of that break there, right there, Brian McCann just barely holds off Troy Radford of the line for the stage break. Stage 2 belongs to McCann, so now 2 major points gets for Brian McCann. And Neil Quick with none so far. Neil knows that if he does not keep up with the pace, keep up with the distance, he could be in trouble. So far, the one that controls and dictates it all is the number 3 of Brian McCann, but will Brian McCann be able to hold back the full throttle assault charges of Troy Radford, Aaron Smith, Chris Medford, and even Brandon Medford? Or can even some guys that have been playing strategy all day like Brian Rose and Neil Quick find their way into the hunt? We'll find out when we come back here on PTM Racing TV. The showcase of the drivers, and to finish this one out is coming up. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you in part by our good friends over at Spartan Logistics Management LLC. By R&R Racewear, the official website merch store of iRacing. By Loud Pedal Gaming TV, smashing the loud pedal for your viewing entertainment. By SimSpeedShop.com. By Track Time Entertainment. And by 5-Star Graphics. A big thank you in large part to these guys, and a big thank you in large part from the fans that come on board to watch the show, and a big thank you from all of us here at PTM Racing TV. If you guys are new to the channel, be sure to hit our like and follow button here on Facebook. Hit our YouTube end after the race here, and you'll see us have the YouTube end up for those that did not be able to make it here on the live feed for Facebook. Of course, as we know, Facebook decides to pull the glitch graphic gremlin card and decide to destroy all our work, so we're not really going to play that here. So that's why we end up downloading them all over on the YouTube side of things now, just so we make sure we have them there for safekeeping. But again, we do have some live shows coming up here, including, for the record, we have one major live show on YouTube that will be coming up this Sunday night. And by the way, this Sunday, hold on a minute before we get to that. I don't know how the heck Chris Medford got around there with Aaron Smith, but Aaron Smith beats him out. Troy Radford's solid spot there on the pit road exit, so that will definitely make things a little bit more interesting for these drivers. But as I was saying, on Sunday night, we'd have not 1, not 2, not even 3. We've got 4 broadcasts in the same day. From 3 p.m. Central, 4 a.m. 4 Eastern Time, to literally 10 Central, 11 Eastern Time. We will have a race broadcasted up on our end by 4 different series, 4 different leagues, 4 different variants. This is going to be the most insane season of racing we've ever had, and Sunday is going to be one of the most racing days we've ever had. It starts with Joe Sixpack Racing League, then goes to Pedal the Metal Racing League, and then the Infield Tractor Tire Super Series, and then a little showcase for 2 races by the Sport Compact Racing Association. Yes, you heard me say that, Sport Compact. I think you have an idea which cars are coming next. And if you don't know, they are literally the newer cars we've got from the Honda and Hyundai series of the road course style. Yeah, those front wheel drive cars, they threw them on dirt. They threw them on the dirt tracks. So if you wanted to see something wild, you want to see something chaotic, just go over to our YouTube and subscribe there, because Sunday night it will be all live broadcasted there for that series entirely, while the Infield Track Tire Series, Pedal to Metal, and Joe Sixpack Racing League will be, of course, here on the Facebook side of things, and then YouTube will get them afterwards. So a big thank you to them and everyone that's got set up for that day and set up for that moment. And believe me, it's going to be absolutely chaotic, to say the least. But right now, as you continue to see the points race get right here on the screen here as well, I think really the top 10 are going to be kind of your look around here. As you've seen with Aaron Smith, he has been in that fight all day long. He's been in that hunt for quite a while, but his point stays have not exactly been the same situation. He's only got about 240 with nearly half the season done and over with. And that really has been kind of a big decreasing factor, in my opinion, for him and his crew. Knowing you're so far back and you're so far down in position, that can be a bit of a troublesome situation where you don't even know if you're going to be able to survive, you're going to be able to conquer. It all depends on just one thing, and that is, how well are you as a driver to get through this field and get through this chunk of races coming up. It's not impossible to knock down Neil Quick, but then you got the risk of having to fight off with Brian McCann and them. Even the Meffords are kind of right in between them with this field, so there's still a chance, but there's a lot of opportunities here to really make it or break it in the season. Each race does matter though, because really that point stay counts, and it's what helps bring you up further into the field. So we'll see what happens here as we get ready to get back down to business, back down to the action. Troy Radford, right now the guy that they're all trying to take down, they're all trying to beat out. He has just a mere 35 laps remaining on the track and on the series. He is going to have himself a field day and a half, because right now these drivers don't need fuel, they don't need tires no more. All they need is a lot of hard racing, a lot of hard battling, and figure out which one's going to take this one home. Green flag back in the air. It's time to finish it out at Chicagoland. Radford and the Meffords off to a strong start. No surprise there. Aaron Smith, though, being very, very patient right out of the gate. I would have thought he'd been a little bit more aggressive to start with, but no, he seems to be kind of pacing himself, looking for an opening, looking to stay out of trouble. Remember, we have not had a single caution besides the stage breaks. So with those stage breaks, that really has kind of brought everyone back in line, back in place to really make a charge or two. Chris Wally now in the number 5, looking like maybe he's got a little bit something coming up for these boys. As Troy Radford and Aaron Smith now must block horns for the win. I said a minute ago, I'm surprised Smith wasn't aggressive as I thought he should be on the start. Well, that certainly changed there, but look at Brian McCann. Dives it down deep into the inside zone. He makes a run for it. Smith, though, with the momentum from the draft above him, and now completely tears down the run that the 3 had and win him with whatever he had left to go. Aaron Smith will be your new leader, but Brian McCann is a tenacious one. He's a crafty tactician. He's been known to take down the best of drivers in the right opportunity at times. 2 of the best drivers going at this league, ready to fight it out once again. They've done it last season. They're ready to do it again. Meanwhile, behind him, of course, Troy Radford, Brian Rose, 2 solid favorites in this race in particular. Brian Rose for his pit strategies and his timing wise on how he went in and out of pit roads on certain occasions. He's been right up there with this entire field. He's led a couple laps. He's been consistently right in the mix of things. But now he finds himself in the hardest position today, and that is how to find a way around the pack situation. Getting that extra little speed, that extra little bump of control really does make a difference. It makes a bit of a handful here. And I think he knows that all too well. Rose trying to dial it up here with the number 46. Chris Mefford on the outside line trying to hold him back from making the big charge ahead. This has been an all-out clean battle, faction-packed fight from start to finish, and drivers knew that too well going in. This is exactly what the fans would love to see. This is exactly what the drivers like to do. But again, they will tell you the first thing is first, that it's extremely difficult to really make a show on for them and this crew here. 30 to go here right now. And Brandon Mefford here trying to push up a little bit with Brian Rhodes. You can see he's getting really close to that wall protection off turn 4. He's trying to push the 89 draft line though to try to hang in there with that top back because he knows he's losing that draft. That's going to cost him dearly here. Coming right up into the fight, into the zone here. Nobody out and about yet. There's only one thing you can do, and that's just hope and pray. Brian McCann, Aaron Smith still at each other's doorsteps, at each other's odds here. You can see Smith, man, he is locked horns with McCann. He's trying to draft them as much as he can to keep the other boys away from him. But at the same time, he's also running a huge risk here, having to find a way to hold on and hang out with this kind of runoff here. Aaron Smith, the number 1 seed going into this season, really has not, in his mind, been the driver or the type of driver that he felt like he could be or he should be in his place. He told me earlier that if there's one thing I plan to do more than anything, it's just make a run for it, make a fight off the charge. Back of the pack here, Jeff Napier, the number 40 now, 12 spots up, looking to maybe make a few more moves and a few more get-arounds. Guys that fall back way behind the charge here, it looks like they're having all sorts of problems here. Cook Quick being one of them, and it looks like Cody Hargler, despite getting his lap back here, currently running in the 8th place position. Can't seem to get himself out of his own way and out of his own guard here. Got a huge distance behind that field here, right ahead. Neil Quick, clearly 2.4 seconds ahead of him. And I think he's well aware that this one is not looking too good for him to succeed in success here. 25 laps remain this next time by. They'll come off of corner 4 here, and right now it is Aaron Smith still leaning in with 25 remaining. Anybody's guess who can really hang into this one. Putting it right on the end. Look at this, some movement coming from the back of the outhouse to the White House. Neil Quick looking like he might have a chance here. He's giving it everything he can. He wants to try, and I mean try to hang in there and do what he's got on the spot. Aaron Smith now looks like he'll have to find a way to hold McCann off on the outside because he just went right up there looking for gold, looking for treasure. He's going to push it to its limits here. And he does not have as much of a drafting partner as he does with Neil Quick, but the thing is the outside line does have one thing that overrides the number 1's run, and that is the fact the outside has more speed than the bottom lane does. Smith is realizing this. He's in trouble. 21 to go, and now Brian McCann regains the lead as Neil Quick kind of charges in with him. Oh, but And Chris Medford gets a pace from Troy Radford here, and unfortunately, that is our first caution of the night. And Radford catches all of which, unfortunately for the 46 to hang on, not the way the Chris Medford wanted this one to go down. Doesn't appear to be any damage there on the 46 by going through the grass and opened his own lawn care service up, but I guarantee you one thing, he's not a happy camper with Troy Radford for that one. Oh my, that was a hard little circumstance and situation we just witnessed here. Presented by R&R Racewear. Let's take a look at the PTM Racing replay. Here's what happened. They came right around that corner here. This is where things get a little dicey. Things get a little crazy here. That's the slightest tap there. It was the slightest little hit, and unfortunately, Medford had nowhere he could go. There's just nothing he can do and nowhere he can get out of. And that is one of those hardest, that's the hardest break as a driver to really have to suffer through and face with, is knowing you just got kind of taken for a ride, taken out by a little bit of a small situation here. You can see right there, man, it just was the slightest little tap, and the next thing you know, he just had no choice. Troy, I guarantee you, was not happy about that at all, but unfortunately, that's kind of how it's going to play out. Now it's going to get everyone really on the question end of what do they do pit sides wise. Ryan McCann, Brandon Medford think they have the strategy here. They're going to stay out. Cody Harger, Troy Radford, and all of them going into pit road. Brian Rose, Aaron Smith, Neil Quick also in there. Fresh sets of tires. All 4 sets are going up. Aaron Smith going to try to beat out Neil Quick off pit road. He will indeed. Not by much, but he'll get him. Troy Radford beats out Jeff Napier just barely, and Brian Rose gets stuck in the 7th place spot of things. Well, race fans, when we come back, we've only got a couple laps remaining here in this race and plenty to finish up. This showcase has been an absolute wild race, to say the least. Which one of these drivers, though, will be able to win it out? Find out when we return. Race fans, this race here at Chicagoland Speedway for Spartan Logistics Management LLC has been brought to you in part by the Spartan Logistics Management LLC themselves, by R&R Racewear, the official website and merch store for R&R Racewear, or iRacing, by Loud Pedal Gaming TV, smashing the loud pedal if you're viewing entertainment, by SimSpeedShop.com, and by Track Time Entertainment. And 5-Star Graphics, a major thank you in large part to them, as well as every single one of these crew members and folks that come on board with us time and time again here, and the fans that just keep on coming to watch the shows, coming on to come and see the races. Really does mean a lot to us here on PTM Racing TV. Really does mean a lot to see folks still tuned in and watching, even especially after this year and a half plus we've done with this group in this series, in this world we've done. I don't know what it is, folks, but it seems like every time I get on iRacing, I always have to expect something different or something to happen. Like, I don't think I've ever had a day where I didn't come on, I didn't feel some kind of emotion. I never was, just kind of came on and I got bored. It was always came on, there was some kind of emotion I felt, whether it was, I was extremely happy, I was extremely upset, or I was mad, or I was like so grateful for just battling with some good people. Or just something. There was always some kind of feeling that came over me when I got on with this sim and this class of racing, and that is something that really, without experiencing it, it's hard to explain. You can't really deny it. You can't really understand it. It's just, it's there, and you know it's there. It's a certain feel that you can only get when you're doing something you love and something you're very proud of. And really, I think iRacing kind of represents that well for me. It's kind of the one thing that I've always wanted to do, which is race. But at the same time, it also kind of opened the doors up to what we do now, which is broadcasting and commentary. And that was always a slight love that I had as a kid and that I wanted to do. And I'm hoping one day, maybe on the Racing Group podcast, I can truly explain like what that meant and what this, what that all represents. Because honestly, I don't think I want to bore you guys to death with talking about why I got into the broadcasting business, why I got into this stuff. So anyway, race fans, we're getting ready to fill back up, dialing back on a few positions into the race zone. This is a laundry list of heavy hitters and heavy battlers ready to showcase their best and their brightest of drivers. A Brian McCann and Brandon Mefford will be the two front runners. They will be the guys that start the pace, start the moments up or two. We're going to be at 16 laps remaining here, Franks fans. There is anybody's guess, anybody's clue who's going to win this one out. We're going to find out. Can McCann do the unthinkable and solidify a solid 9 placement? Can he take home pretty much a whole points day of racing and his moments in between? He was not the #1 qualifier, but he certainly came ever so close to getting it. The green flag's back on now, and it's time to finish this one out. Oh, the roar of these beasts being put to the absolute test, being put to the limit. Wide, slow down that back straight away. If you're going to make moves, you best do them now because you're running out of time. Neil Quick right in the middle of things. Look at Brian Rose just diving straight down in. Hard charging it off. All the momentum going to the Holler Boys camp. Can he possibly do it and finally get the Holler Boys some wins here tonight? They haven't been to victory lane since we started broadcasting with them at Talladega Super Speedway. That day it would go to that number 87 machine that night. And haven't seen them in victory lane since. Oh, everyone's getting pretty close and upbeat here, though. We're going to have some fights going on. 3 wide, slow down through turn number 3. Brian McCann shuffled back in. He gets sent back a little bit. Look at 2. Neil Quick getting a little loose out the corner of turn 4. Had a fight down out of it. Get out of that mess. Brian Rose going to have to do the same here. He's going way back into the field here. Aaron Smith getting a good rocking field day after that one. Looked like Troy Radford kind of got himself in a bit of a runoff or two. Aaron Smith left high and dry now. He's going to have to hope for the best when Radford comes around here. Here comes Troy Radford to the inside. They shuffled him back. They shuffled him in. Now it's literally just a roll the dice situation. Hope for the best and make sure you can get yourself a little bit of luck in between here. Coming right off the paces, off the ends here of turn number 3. And it seems like every driver for themselves and every driver looking for an opening where they can get it. Nobody has been able to signify or strengthen their moment as much as some other guys have here. And they are doing much of that and then some right now. See, Pengraff's still in it a little bit. He's getting some good charges here despite that damage on that front end. I'm surprised the car is still running as well. Napier kind of keeping his distance, trying to watch out. Doesn't want to get tangled up, doesn't want to get into any messes here. Radford falls back again now. Aaron Smith back into the race lead. Brian McCann, Brian Rose, 2 guys you would have not have thought getting thrown back in the outhouse here. Completely wasted away and laced it down on the ends, and that's really a shocker because they were firing so quick and so hard there. And Neil Quick, once again, I don't know how the heck this cat does it, but my goodness, folks. The number 2 just outsmarted and outclassed Aaron Smith and the number 1 yet again. He had a war on his hands last week when we were at Atlanta. This week, he has an even bigger battle right behind him, and yet somehow, some way, he charges through the front, charges through the field, and takes it over from him. And look at Brandon Mefford. Oh, watch out. This cat's going for a big. He's going for a broke here. Looking for his first win in a while. Everyone just completely all over the place. There is nobody safe here in this rack. Whoa! Jeff Napier into the wall protection there, trying to avoid it. Gets a tag there from Vincent Short. Brian Rose tags Vincent Short a little bit, coming up into turn 3 and 4. Napier had a hard run up, but gets slammed into the wall protection. Oh, they keep it green, they keep it clean. They don't want to stop, they don't want to give out just yet here. Mike Harper, though, the 4. Now moving right in there at Brian Rose. Vincent Short and Brian Rose got to work together here if they want any chance to get to the field. The pack's starting to drift off. 8 laps remain. Things getting hot, things getting heated here on PTM Racing TV. Vincent Short and Brian Rose, the Holler Boys getting sent a little bit back to the shallow realm. both of them running hard up front for a little time or two, but now the draw has changed and the timing has changed up. Neil Quick finds himself back into the driver's seat in a bit of a fight out here with Cody Harger. Harger, remember earlier on, was a lap down, and now he is literally in a chance of his lifetime as Cook Quick. Unfortunately, though, will bring out the caution flag. There's trouble down there. And just like that, things can change on a dime and change out of nowhere. Our second caution only of the night, of all things. You gotta be kidding me right now. Let's find out what happened here. Looks like Cook was given a good run here at a good momentum burst. Look at him drive it right up there off of turn 2, though. And yet again, another one of another driver of Troy Radford gets taken from. And I'm not sure if that's coincidental that it happened in the same place, same spot. But I mean, Troy, it looked like from his end, it didn't look like he tried to drift down at him. And it looked like Quick might have drifted up. Because that's what had happened previously. I don't know about you guys. You be the call on that one. I mean, that's hard racing, yes. But I mean, if you're Troy Radford, I don't know if I would necessarily try to fit through that little gap there. That would have been. That's just my call anyway. Maybe he thought he can push it in and kind of push the shove, but I don't know. I'll let you guys be the judges and fans at home. With that said, this in mind now, race fans, we have only a set amount of laps remaining. Matter of fact, we've only got about 3 or 4 laps left on the restart. And right now, if I'm a driver at this moment, I'm thinking one thing on the top of my head, and that is I will not hold back on putting this thing up to the front. I am going to give it everything I've got. I'm going to push a few more than just some limits here on this last restart, possibly. There has been some absolute killer crazy moments in between. Some major hits in between too. And now we're looking at a solid performance and a solid end of this race. As a driver, you really can't ask for a more dynamic situation. You can't ask for a more crazier spot to be in. And right now, if you're Neil Quick, the race leader, you got to be literally swimming in your shoes thinking, oh boy, if I miss the start up, I miss any shift up, if I miss anything up, I may be in trouble. He knows only one thing and one thing that he must do. Forget about the rest and play this one in with the best. You see them all double filed up, ready to go at it here again. Double filed up, restart coming up. This could be the end of it all. This could literally be the craziest moment here. Chicagoland's given us results before. This whole race has given us some great results and some great battles, but I feel as though this finish might just take the cake. Neil Quick, if he can win this race, he may just lock himself in as the best driver of the season and at last control his destiny for the season championship. If he does not, say somehow, some way, Brian McCann or even Brian Rose or Aaron Smith find a way to knock him down a few pegs and knock him farther down the list, this could be a big opening and a big chance here for them to come off from. They'll lead him down in through turns number 3 and 4. The anticipation is starting to increase. You can see the fans on the feet, over 40,000 in attendance here today. We're ready to see this one finish out. This could get interesting here on PTM Racing TV. Waiting the green flag restart. The flag's up in the air, high, down they go. 3 remain. Cody Harger looking to try to knock him down a few pegs, so he does not want Neil Quick to win this one out that easily. Off the back burners of turn 2 to the back straightaway they go. The field's now drafting up in position. They're looking for a runoff. They're looking for anything they can to keep up with their chances, keep their chance alive. They all did not get as clean of a restart as I think they were hoping for. I think they were hoping for a little more speed boost here. Well, he's got some damage on that 5 machine. He's not going to have much left in the tank here. Brian Rhodes, Chris Medford, though, they're hanging up with only 2 to go. Watch out for them charging right up to the front. This could be an opening for them to hit it with. Kyle Pengraff engaging in. They'll have one last lap left to see if they can hang in there. You got multiple storylines going on right now, especially what's happening right behind them. 3 wide saloon, double file off of turn number 4 of all things. White flag is out. We're going to see ourselves a finish here, folks. What on earth's going to happen here? You got guys in the 3 wide slew tandem draft trying to king in there. Wally pushing and shoving a little bit off the talk like Saki in the 34. But off a corner 2 to the back straightaway. Harger's going to need to look for one more run around Neil Quick. Neil's going to try to hold him back here, try to hold him down the line. Aaron Smith trying to hang in there just a little longer. They'll come to the finish line virtually even. And up to the finish though. Neil Quick will hold him up by 400ths of a second. Unbelievable. Neil Quick gets another victory and another point stay, and my goodness, folks, how he held off Cody Harger on the line just goes to show you he has no trouble and no qualms about taking down the best drivers with that literally speed, with that literally control and consistency he brings to the table. He's done it again, race fans. Neil Quick, with maybe the season of his life, pulls off another W and another victory here on PTM Racing TV, and yet maybe signifying his season championship hopes. Race by race by race basis, he just continues to throw it on the track and pour his heart and soul wherever he goes. This was certainly no different. And the drivers now getting ready to set themselves up for their top 3 picture podium. But let's take a look at our race results presented by Spartan Logistics Management LLC. Here is the final results now on your screen. Neil Quick, Cody Harger, 400ths of a second, actually 3200ths of a second is the difference here between these drivers, 39 thousandths of a second I should say, between these 2 drivers. Really the difference maker. Aaron Smith comes away 3rd, 4th to Chris Medford, 5th to Kyle Pengraff. Great showing from him tonight. Good to see him finally put the 14 back in a good spot and back into the fight. 6th to Brian Rose, 7th to Brian McCann. Brandon Medford comes away 8th, 9th to Mike Harper. And Chris Wally with a solid 10th place finish. That rounds out your top 10 in this case. Take a look at your other results and the other finishers here as we prepare to talk with the top 3 now, with the 3rd place driver now joining me here on PTM Racing TV here down as he hops out of that car and kind of talks with us here on the track. Aaron Smith, congratulations on a 3rd place finish here tonight, my friend. And boy, what a run it was for you and your crew. You had a lot going down on the track and a lot really playing out, but at the end of the day, you still managed to come away with another podium finish, sir. Hold on, folks. I think our voice channel might be broken here. Smith, you got us now?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. So, do you need me to repeat, or did you hear anything?
I didn't hear anything.
Okay. So, obviously, another podium finish here for you tonight. A big showing here from you and your crew. Great racing as well. I mean, I gotta ask you though, man. You had a lot going down and a lot of stuff really playing out through this one. I mean, really, did this podium come easy, or do you think it really came with a lot of challenges in between?
It seemed pretty hard at the start when I fell back to the rear of the field because I thought they were going to wad it up a little bit more than they did there at the start of the race. But yeah, we drove up through the field. The cautions all fell in my favor, and then we just missed out on it at the end. But fortunately, we were able to bring home the podium.
For sure, there, bring home on the podium and another solid place here in your positions. I got to ask you this though. You got really a lot going on. You got a lot of stuff going down on the track here for the future end of this race here and the season. I mean, is there any chance you think maybe there's a way you can fight your way back into the championship hunt, or do you think it's just gonna be a lot of more work to do?
Oh yeah, I'm already there. I just need to show up to the rest of the races in this regular season. I went and missed last week because the race I was in before ran just a little too long, but I'll be able to make the rest of them, and hopefully we'll be able to claw our way back up.
For sure, there. Well, nevertheless, Smith, I know obviously as a defending champion, you got a lot of stuff going down on the track and a lot of stuff playing in. So I'll have to ask you though, as you got some friends and family to thank for this one, who was that going to be tonight?
Well, I'd like to thank all the folks at the IROC Challenge for putting the show on, and all the folks at the front for putting up a heck of a race. It was fun racing them there throughout the last two stages there, and looking forward to next week.
For sure, there. Well, nevertheless, we appreciate you coming on board here, Smith. Congratulations on your third place finish, and we'll catch you on next time out on the track, sir.
All right, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Smith, the number one driver, coming away with another position or two and a great finish from his end. But another driver that really still trying to get that old cursed monkey off his back when it comes to being a second place finish, and that's Cody Harger here in that 66. Cody, congratulations, man, on a second place finish and a hard charge there to the end of the line. But nevertheless, man, you had a lot going down, a lot really on your mind from start to finish, wasn't it?
Yeah, man, we started off there looking pretty good, led a bunch of laps until the green flag stopped, and I just straight duffed it. And it got too fast going in the pits, had to get a 40-second hold and put me a lap down there. And caught a lucky dog there before the second stage, but starting behind all them lap cars just had me down on the order. And when I finally cleared them, the main pack, they were gone, and I lost the draft. So I just did a lot of riding there that second stage. So knew the third stage, if we were gonna make some magic happen, we'd have to do it quick. Got to racing pretty hard there, lost the main pack again, but luckily that little caution there about 135ish or so really helped me out and got me back bunched up and to the front we went. I was working with the Quick brothers tonight, so when me and Neil got lined up, I was committed to push him to the end. We raced it out there a little bit to the stripe. If I'd have made a move a little earlier, I might could have got him. But you know what? Hey, he got him another dub. I got me a good points night. So he just owes me one now. How about that?
I'd say definitely owes you a few more receipts than just that one. But I mean, nevertheless, here, Cody, really put up a good show, a good strive here from you and your team. I got to ask you who got you here today.
Yeah, let me thank sponsor on my for my iRacing stuff, Plasmine Technologies. They do a lot for me. Definitely would like to thank the guys here at IROC, Chris Whaley, Kyle Pendergraph, all the league sponsors, Spartan Logistics, TTE. I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of them. Sim Speed Shop. I'm drawing a blank on the rest of them, but thank you to all the guys that help out and run this league, and of course, thank you to PTM for broadcasting it, letting us go back and relive these moments.
For sure, there. Whenever that's Cody, appreciate it coming on board. Thanks for the support, man, and congratulations on another field day in position for you and your team.
Thank you, sir.
Cody Harger, ladies and gentlemen, your second place finisher here tonight in the number 66, and taking away another W to his name and really just adding on to his resume. Ladies and gentlemen, Neil Quick, your race winner now at Chicagoland. And Neil, I showed earlier today the points list, the points series in the system here. You got a pretty good amount of points on these guys and a pretty good field day right now as it is, but I think you honestly may just be locking yourself up more than I think most even realize here with these wins. How the heck are you doing this so well, man?
Man, I don't know. I just got a good feel for this car and just able to carry momentum in it, and just had a lot of luck on my side. I mean, everybody knows a lot of these races between the being a little bit of fast, you got to have a whole lot of luck. So really had some good help tonight from Cody in the last stage to get back up to the front there in the middle. I made a mistake pitting and lost the draft and fell back, and fortunately for me, me and Cody hooked up there at the end and was able to hold off Aaron, which is always a hard charge to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a reason why he is a season champion right now and the defending champ to be asking. But I mean, right now the way you're looking, I mean, that too might have to change into a one because really we've seen you in number one position like multiple times, and being able to continue with that, I mean, your season seems like it's just about there, ready to finish out. I mean, what's it gonna take for you and your team to just kind of clear that whole season up and win this one?
Well, just keep putting good, consistent finishes together here. Definitely, I like the trophies. I like to win the races. But with this series and being a champion, those stage points are definitely important. And come away in the first stage looking pretty good. Second stage lost a little bit of points, but got them back there at the end. So just consistently try to put in as many points as you can on the board at the end of the night between all three stages and winning. So it's a great series. Chris and Kyle and all these guys, admin guys, do a great job with it, and great bunch of racers over here. I know those top 10 or 12 guys are anybody can win on any night.
You can certainly do that and then some here, and obviously a big win for you and your crew. So, Neil, as you walk away here, Joliet, Illinois, with the victory and another win to your name, I have to ask you, who do you want to thank you for this one?
Definitely the family let me have time to do this. The guys putting the series on again, and the sponsors that make it happen for everybody. Spartan Logistics, uh, the Track Time Entertainment, Sim Speed Shop, uh, R&R Racewear, all those guys. And then of course you guys doing a great job with the broadcast. Makes it fun every Thursday night. Look forward to it.
For sure there. Well, Neil, we appreciate coming on board here, man. Congratulations on another W and a victory for you and your team. We certainly hope to see you back here on the show in due time.
Thank you guys. Also want to do a big shout out to WR1 Sims, Chad Wheeler this week. If I wasn't for him, I wouldn't be racing. I had some wheelbase problems over the weekend, and he bailed me out and got me a new wheelbase for this week.
He certainly bailed you out and got you in a victory lane celebration here. So, Neil, I definitely had to say you probably owe him a couple drinks for this one, my man. But nevertheless, congratulations.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. Neil Quick, the number 2, your race winner here tonight. And a big thank you again to Spartan Logistics Management LLC, R&R Racewear, Loud Pedal Gaming TV, SimSpeedShop.com, Track Time Entertainment, and of course our friends over at 5 Star Graphics for everything. Thank you so much to the fans at home for tuning in. We certainly hope you guys enjoyed it. And until that green flag flies next time here on PTM Racing TV, which is tomorrow night for Backfire Sim Racing at Daytona. We'll see you then with all this madness and chaos. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you soon.